Good morning, kindergarten. I hope you had such a fabulous weekend, a chilly weekend. Maybe you had a chance to go outside and play in the snow. And we're getting ready to get started with our learning this morning on this chilly morning. So we're going to start out with reading. I want you to pretend like you're at my reading table, and we're going to get started with a reading group. First thing we're going to do is go over some sight words. Now, if these are sight words that you get a little stuck on, maybe these are ones that you could work on practicing this week. So think to yourself, I don't know if I know that one. Be a great one to practice. So here we go. Here's our first one. Good. They. Of. Want. Good. That's a tricky one. Said. Great. We've been working on that one. We're going to keep working on it this week too. Me. Are. Remember that AR says R like a pirate. Was. And last one. Look. Good. Like those two eyes right there in the middle are looking at you. Great. Okay, if you got stuck on any of those, great ones to practice this week. Okay, we're going to get started with a new strategy. Now, we know that when we come to words that we don't know in books, we have to have strategies to figure them out. We can't always sound them out or stretch them out. We have to have strategies to help us figure them out. And a new one that we have today is called Skippy the Frog. And here's my little frog to help you guys to remember this strategy. So Skippy the Frog tells us that when we come to a word that we don't know, we can skip the word and try reading the rest of the sentence, and then we can come back to it and think to ourselves, well, what would make sense there in the word that I skipped? What would make sense? What looks right? Maybe what would sound right there? And what would make sense in this sentence? Okay, so let's give it a try together. So, this first sentence that I have here for us to practice together goes like this. What's this word? Frog was. Now that's kind of a really long word. Maybe we should try to skip that one and come back to it. So Skippy the Frog tells us, skip over it, read the rest of the sentence, and come back to it. On the log. The frog was something on the log. Okay, let's go back and get a running start, start from the beginning, and see if we can figure out what makes sense there. The frog was what would make sense? Jumping, you got it. Jumping on the log. So you can see how Skippy the Frog works. We can skip it, think about what would make sense there, what looks right. Maybe use a few of your other strategies like finding a chunk that you know, and I bet you can figure out the word. So give that a try while you're reading today. Our new book is this one. Let's read the title together because I bet you know some things. You can see some chunks in there that you know. What's this first word? Do you see a chunk that you know we worked on last week? You're right. There's ow. How can. Now this is a name, and there is what at the end? You're right, a Ninja E. Ninja E is going to make A say its name, so stretch out her name. Jane. Jane is her name. And here's one of our new sight words. Help. How can Jane help? Great. So I put our two new sight words up here for you to look at. Help. And this one is the sight word to. Just like the other two, but this one has two O's. And this to means that I want to do something to. Not like the number 2 or I'm going to the store, but it means that I or somebody wants to do something to. That's T-O-O. Okay, so we're going to take a picture walk through this book, and then you're going to open up Seesaw and read it and read to me just like you did last week. Have fun. Our essential question that goes along with our book this week is, how can you help out at home? So that's a great thing for us to be thinking about as we're reading today and see if we can make any connections. How are you helping out at home? It's a great question that we're asking right now, right? Because we're all at home and we can be doing things to help out our parents or our siblings. So let's take a picture walk and see if you have any connections and see what Jane is doing to help out at home. What is she doing in this first picture? Yeah, she's helping clean up after her pets. Do you do that at home? And washing the car. That's always a fun chore. Helping to make lunch. How many of you do that during the day? Help your parents or help brothers and sisters to make lunch? Helping with the groceries. What is she doing here? Something fun to do in the fall, isn't it? What does this picture look like she's doing? Maybe doing some thinking. And the last page, helping out with her dog, feeding the dog. I know my kids help me do that. That's a good connection. Okay, so I want you all to open up Seesaw, and we're going to read this book together. There'll be a video with me reading the first couple of pages with you, and then you'll read the rest by yourself a few times, and then you can open up the second activity in Seesaw and read the story to me.